The Opinion with Michael J. Today, we discuss MAGA's road to authoritarianism. And how the Republican Party has morphed into MAGA, and how CPAC, which is conservative, stands for the Conservative Political Action Committee. That's CPAC. So that's a vehicle of MAGA. That's a vehicle of the Republicans. That's a vehicle called the Conservative Political Action Committee. And here we have MSNBC. This is Donald Trump doing a speech to CPAC in Hungary. You'll say, why am I bringing up CPAC in Hungary? Well, you have to understand that CPAC was also just in Poland, because Poland just had their major elections, which just culminated, I believe, yesterday or early this morning, with a far-right president. And the president was being promoted by Donald Trump and CPAC. You'll say, damn, how is that possible? Well, it's actually very much possible, and I'll show you. Let's look at this. First of all, you can just listen to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump does Donald Trump.
I also want to pay a very special regard to the leader of Hungary, Viktor Orban, who's a great man and highly respected by everybody. He's done a brilliant job of leading, and he's a very, very special person.
So Viktor Orban, that you should know or be aware of, has been leading Hungary for a long time. Visited Donald Trump many times. At Mar-a-Lago, in between terms, 2016, 2017, and present 2024. But the issue here is now we're going to move to a couple of days ago up to the Poland election, which just finished, and the far right-wing president is in place that was the nominee from Putin and Trump. So this is going to be hard to wrap your heads around because, Donald Trump's the president of the United States, but Trump and Putin are putting Putin's proxy, or proxies, their proxies, Trump and Putin's proxies, in place in Poland. The network just gets deeper, wider, and more convoluted, and it's hard to wrap your head around, but look at this. You got Kristi Noem, here's CPAC, Poland. CPAC, Poland. Secretary of Homeland Security endorsing Putin's puppet in Poland. Do you see that? Secretary of Homeland Security endorsing Putin's puppet in Poland. So do you really think Ukraine's got a chance with Russia? You think Trump's really helping? Trump's playing many sides of the fence for Trump, and that's where it's at. So Secretary of Homeland Security, here we go. Kristi Noem calls Polish mayor a train wreck. He's the Democratic choice. And it was a close race, finally won by the proxy for Kristi Noem, Trump, and Vladimir Putin. Here you go. Kristi Noem slams weak European leaders at CPAC, destroyed their civilizations. Live, Kristi Noem, conservative push. Kristi Noem, 5 days ago. Kristi Noem. U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem urges Polish people to vote for Nawrocki. Noem urges Poland to elect Trump ally. And the Trump ally is the Russian ally of Vladimir Putin. Beware of the violence scam. Well, we won't go there. Kristi Noem again. CPAC, Poland. Conservative Political Action Committee, CPAC. Kristi Noem's CPAC speech. Kristi Noem, Kristi Noem, Kristi Noem. So why are the Americans hooking up with Vladimir Putin to change the political situation in Europe? Elon Musk was doing it, trying to manipulate the German elections when he was working for Doge. Poland elects pro-Trump, razor-thin margin. Conservative Karol Nawrocki, this guy here, elected Poland's new president. Pro-Trump conservative ekes out a win in Poland's presidential election. So, the Russian, Putin-Trump coalition is stronger than ever. I'm just surprised that the American people have not understood that. The Republican Party's been hijacked, and they're trying to hijack every conservative party around the world, including Canada. And that's where we've seen a correlation with Alberta and Danielle Smith going down to all these Republican conservative conventions. And there's just another form of authoritarianism at its best. And it's creeping everywhere. You got to be careful, people. It's getting stronger here in Canada. And that's where the separation movement in Alberta is happening. So this is what we've got here. Now I'm going to bring you now to Midas Touch. Ben Meiselas, 23 hours ago. I'm just going to do a small smidgen of this here.
I'm going to show you also, this is not getting a lot of attention. It's why I think it's vital for our platform here on the Midas Touch Network to show you how the Trump regime is trying to, I think this is doing Putin's bidding right here, influence elections of candidates who are supported by Putin and sympathetic to Putin around the world. The organization in the United States called CPAC, which used to stand for the Conservative Political Action Committee or Conference, basically became a right-wing MAGA nutcase thing, ultra MAGA extremist thing. They hold events now in European countries. And right before there's a European election, like the election that's right here, in the election in Poland, there's a far right-wing candidate and there is a centrist European Union candidate. And so what CPAC does, they hold conferences in places like Poland, in Hungary, and then Trump regime officials go into these countries to try to influence the elections to get Putin puppets elected. It's right in front of our eyes that Trump is sending his cabinet level people to try to help Putin's puppets take over these countries. So I'll give you the example. In the past 48 hours, you had dog killer cosplayer, U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem simping for Karol Nawrocki, the far right-wing extremist, Putin-backed candidate, saying that he should be the next president of Poland. And he or she was attacking the mayor of Warsaw, the pro-EU, pro-democracy candidate. But you'll see, this is a perfect example. CPAC in America trying to influence and interfere in foreign elections. And remember, we saw that in Germany. We see it all over the place. But take a look at Kristi Noem in Poland. Play this clip.
The U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, said that Karol Nawrocki should be the next president of Poland. Speaking at the CPAC conference in Rzeszów in Poland's southeast, Noem also criticized his runoff rival and Warsaw mayor, Rafał Trzaskowski.
I just had the opportunity to meet with Karol, and listen, he needs to be the next president of Poland. Do you understand me? It matters who's in charge. I have watched over the years as socialists and people that are just like this mayor out of Warsaw, that is an absolute train wreck of a leader, have destroyed our countries because they have led by fear. They have used fear to control people, and they've used fear to promote an agenda that is not what liberty is about.
Right? You didn't see that on U.S. media, right? And she didn't repost that clip on her social media. She posted a clip with herself and the current president of Poland, a guy named Andrzej Duda. And he is also kind of a right-wing guy, although not as far right-wing as this Karol guy who's running. So she showed that, I'm here to talk with the president of Poland and the parliamentary system of Poland.
That is correct. And this is a worrisome trend here, folks. And I'm going to explain a little bit further. What do I mean? Well, let's look at something here. We're going to look at the International Democracy Union. The International Democracy Union. Let's refresh this. You're going to see a trend here. We connect freedom. Now, the International Democracy Union. We connect freedom. Whoops. Okay. So now, let's look here. Members, they've got a huge reach. Trust me on this. But we're going to just focus here on the Serbian Progressive Party here. Now, the Serbian Progressive Party, which is presently been led by this Alexander Vucic since 2013. He's another Putin puppet. And what you really need to know is that he's lately had riots there because people are protesting. And why are they protesting? Because one of the defense buildings that got bombed during the Milosevic civil war, which has been cordoned off, done nothing. So anyways, there was a backdoor deal done through his government, this guy's government, to award development to Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner. But you have to understand, this Alexander has been a Russian puppet since 2013. And it's just around the world. It's not stopping there. But people, you just don't get it. You just get caught up in the noise. You don't see what's really going on. Now, you look at the IDU, the International Democratic Union, the Republican Party as the treasurer for this organization. That is the treasurer. Now let's go. Who's the chairman of the board? Stephen Harper. Stephen Harper's ensconced within the Alberta political ecosystem. Pierre Poilievre is ensconced within the Alberta political ecosystem. Danielle Smith and her party, UCP, are trying to create separatism. Separatism, to separate, become the 51st state, or an independent, sovereign, whatever you want to call it, republic maybe? So, got an interesting situation happening here. Now let's look at the members. The members. Okay, so here you see in blue and dark blue their reach around the world. So this is much deeper than you people realize. Much deeper than you realize. Stephen Harper, we got, and also, guys, Liz Truss, you know, she's in here, she's a member here. These are all these members. But the deal is, you want to be controlled, and everything's like cut. We got to cut the civil service. We got to cut this. We got to cut that. You see what's happened in the United States of America. If you really look closely, the civil service, there was not much really to cut. You might find some inefficiencies, but not much. Civil service provides a lot of support for the people of the nation. And that's true with Canada as well. Everybody wants to cut. But there's a more disturbing trend here of authoritarianism that's firmly entrenched in the American political system right now, trying to assert their dominance within Europe and also within Canada. So this is a wake-up system. This is really a wake-up call. People have to understand, do you want just more pain and suffering? Or do you want to create a situation of harmony and abundance? And that's really what it's all about. And you really need to do your own research. Figure out what is real, what is not real. Don't get caught up in the noise, because the noise is there to distract you so that they can continue with their agenda and do what they want, and that is manipulate you. And your first sign of that is, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you, the carbon tax in Canada, the carbon tax Trudeau, carbon tax Carney, carbon tax Freeland. You finally get the carbon tax zero rated. It's still there in the legislation, but it's zero rated, so it has zero effect on a consumer basis. Now, once that was zero rated, didn't make you rich, didn't change your life. But here's another interesting factor that you have not taken into consideration. As at this juncture right now, any gain or small gain by removing or zero rating the consumer carbon tax has been nullified or taken away by inflation of food prices. So there's a lot more here that you have not understood, and you just get caught up in the slogans and the platitudes of a guy like Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party, Republican Party in the States, MAGA in the States, Maple MAGA North, and that's where we're at. You have to use discernment and understand what is necessary to make change that will change your life for the better and create harmony and abundance. So I'm going to leave that with you. Questions, comments, throw in chat. Love and peace to everyone. Talk to you all soon. Ciao for now.